Hello. How did you look last Halloween? Did you get to scare someone? Or did you just sit in the dark by yourself? I think it's time to get off the couch and start getting ready for the next All Hallows Eve. Won't you come along with me to see how I made this from a few small pieces of leftover victim? I mean leather. I started by tracing my friend Bonesy's face. He never smiles anymore, so that made it easy. My pieces of victim had dried out, so I dampened it a little. Skin is so much easier to work with and trace when it's moist. You can use a rusty nail, an ice pick, or even a leftover crow's beak to trace your drawing. There's no need to press too hard. It's not like you will get to hear them scream again and the blood is already gone. Oh, what a fun night that was. Ah, but the sweet memories. They last forever. Here you see me cutting the leather to shape. If you have never cut skin, I mean leather, it's a fascinating experience that everyone should try at least once. Of course, it's too late for the best part. There's nothing juicy under this piece. Haha. I do have to admit this is cleaner, and my pet werewolves aren't howling and begging for a little leftover treat. Cutting out the teeth was more difficult than I thought. Usually I'm cutting teeth marks out as to keep as souvenirs, instead of cutting the shape of them. I'll have to show you my collection sometime, when the moon is right. Here I am doing the same thing to the top part of the mask. My original thought was to have the mask stop just below the eyes, but Bonesy has such a great forehead. The way it glows in the moonlight always brings a scream of fright from the little goblins. But sometimes it gives him away when he is peeking in windows. Everyone can see it. I always get a kick from watching humans turn to the windows because they thought they saw something. Even when Bonesy leaves to find his next snack, the humans will keep looking at the windows, wondering if they really saw something or not. That's a great time to tap the window with a branch. On a good night, my werewolves can smell their fear growing, making my furry babies hungrier. I miss the old days when there were still a few that would come out and look. I've gotten many a tasty meal that way. Now when they come out, the humans point their cell phones around and yell that they are live streaming. I was so excited the first time I heard that. It's been at least 100 years since I've had a good live steamed meal. The meat just falls off the bones. But really the best part is before the meal. The steaming. It's like a game to see who can trick the human into the steamer. A little noise here. Bushes rustling over there. Soon the human is running away from the house and right into our kitchen, which we usually disguise as an old shed. You have to steam them fast, while the fear is still racing through their veins. It adds an extra zest that will have you gnawing on the bones. Because this skin is from the back or thigh, I have to cut the face in. Think of it like outlining a tattoo, but with a blade instead of a needle. These are called swivel knives. I designed one of these so I could make more intricate cuts and finer designs. I'm not some cheap Hollywood slasher. I take pride in my work, a personal satisfaction in making these carvings in skin. This is where all those first markings with the crow beak come in. I can follow those faint lines with the blade, making light cuts into the skin. It takes practice and patience, but the results are worth it. Remember not to practice while the previous owner of the skin is still alive. They squirm around too much. The Blood Mobile was in town today, so I was in a little time crunch. I like to stop in for some free samples. That's why the skin is wetter than I prefer. It should be moist but not shiny like this, or water still visible. I will make a video of how to prepare your victim for carving soon. I just didn't have time today. Besides the Blood Mobile, the were puppies broke a water pipe in the yard that I had to fix. I couldn't have the authorities come snooping around and see my collection of fresh skin and bones. Bonesy was a little upset that I didn't get his bottom teeth the same as the top. I told him I did it on purpose so he wouldn't get blamed for any bites I left in people. Because every once in a while a victim gets away. The centuries have slowed me down a little bit. As good as this is starting to look, I want it to look better. Not like wearing my victim's skin. Haha, it's been a decade or two since I've worn skin like that, and the stories I could tell. Maybe another time though. Now it's time to add some texture and depth to the skin to help the colors and add shading. In the past, I had used leftover implements left over from the Spanish Inquisition. But the humans came up with better devices. These stamps that I'm using help create the borders, shadows, and textures. How hard you tap on them depends on how thick the skin is, how the skin was prepared, and how sharp or subtle you want the effects to be. Just remember, you're not trying to break bones. They are already dead, ha ha ha. I've always wanted to do this to a few of my minions and victims. To mark my property and leave a little extra reminder to obey me. But living skin heals, so I have to use other methods. Back to my Bonesy mask. A helpful hint is to have an old headstone under your work. Granite is best. But besides being so heavy, humans get all upset when you take their headstones. So it's best to just go out and buy a small section to use. Don't be like my friend Frankie who got a huge chunk just because he's so big and strong. He dropped it on his foot one night, and I ended up having to sew on 3 new toes. That's why he walks with that funny gait now. Part of that was my fault. I sent out a Pappy to get some new parts, and he brought back the foot of a human runt. And puppies have a hard time remembering their left and right. I could have sent them out for a better foot, but Frankie was moaning so loud that he actually woke the dead. After finishing stamping the top of my Bonesy mask, I did the same to the jaw. The bones are not flat around the teeth, so some depth really helps them stand out and create the 3D effect, especially with a little extra color added. I mixed up a light gray to use as a base color for the mask. Bonesy asked why I didn't use white. I told him that I didn't want it to look as healthy as him. I wanted to look a little sick like the time he ate that politician. That was a terrible time for Bonesy, and you couldn't believe a single word he said. It's true, you are what or who you eat. I ran into some issues with my airbrush when I went to add some black shadowing. It seems that I didn't clean it well enough the last time I used it, so I wasn't able to create the fine lines that I wanted. Luckily, I knew how to handle that and grabbed a stencil of some cracks in bones. Well, the package said lightning bolts, but I knew what they really were. They have to change things like that so humans don't get all squeamish. When I was done with this mask, my airbrush would get a thorough cleaning. I also had a problem with getting the back of my head in front of the camera. The camera isn't smart enough to move like Frankie is, but now I know what he sees when he's lurking over my shoulder. On the positive side, the camera doesn't breathe on me like Frankie does. And since Frankie doesn't brush his teeth, they might fall out, you know. You always know who Frankie ate last. Like if he ate a Mexican or an Italian. Those aren't too bad, but when he eats one of those vegans, it's just horrible. They smell like week old McDonald's fries. I finish up the shading, and while it's not exactly the way I wanted it, I'm sure it will be good enough for nighttime prowling and lurking. Bonesy says he wants to try it for window peeking, so he doesn't get caught as often. He's such a prankster. With a little bit of practice, there is so much you can do with an airbrush. Even writing your own name, ha ha ha. Some of my minions even like me to paint their bodies. I think they have a freaky side when they are on their own, but I would rather not know what they do in their free time. Not all of us are built like Frankie. He can just rip off arms and legs when he's hungry. And he really doesn't care who he eats, he's not picky at all. I guess that's what happens when you are made from a bunch of different parts. But for the rest of us who can't go around ripping arms and legs off, we have to keep our teeth nice and sharp. Besides helping us look friendly, It makes it a lot easier to only eat the choicest and tastiest parts of a human. I mean snack. It's just about finished and really looking good now. You can do a lot with skin. It's one of my favorite things to play with. I think one of those pesky goblins misplaced the video of chewing out. I mean cutting out the eyes. And the part where I attach the jaw. The original plan was to make it work in unison with my mouth. That way the small humans that come around begging for treats would get to see my real teeth too when I open my mouth. But not everything works right the first time. I hope you've enjoyed seeing how easy it is to make your own mask from skin. It does not have to be for just one night a year. With a little imagination, you will find other times and places to wear one. Like a pandemic? Just don't make a clown mask. Those are too scary for Frankie and I. Please leave a comment and your blood type. Maybe we'll meet for a snack.